It is that time again, ladies and gentlemen. It is competition time from the Only Fools of Horses team. And this time, it is the biggest one of them all, and I can assure you that. Now, thanks to the Always Trying Racing Syndicate, we are managing to give away a 1-year share in a horse called Ideal Sauvage. Now, she's a beautiful looking horse. She was last seen winning a point-to-point in very good fashion. And she now goes into training with Grand National winning trainer Donald McCain. Here you should see a photo of the horse, and here is a pedigree. But that's not all, is it, Lee?
That's right, Harry. We do have a custom-made footstool courtesy of KC Sofas. They will design and personalise a footstool with your racing colours on, your favourite racing colours of your choice, and deliver to your door. But Ash is going to tell you how to enter. Ash?
Yes, that's right. There are 2 great prizes to be won. Tickets are only £5. And if you do want to get involved, make sure to inbox the Only Fools Love Horses racing account on Twitter. That's OFLH Racing on Twitter. Inbox there for more details. 2 fantastic prizes for a real good price if it's only the £5 a ticket. So make sure to go contact us over there if you're interested. And it should be a fantastic competition, lads. Hello and welcome back to the Only Fools Love Horses YouTube channel. And it is finally that time. Royal Ascot, the premier event of the flat season. We all cannot wait for it. First of all, apologies for probably my audio and my screen. I'm recording from home, lack of equipment, and I've been out all day, but we're still here. We're still in the flesh. And what more could I ask for than to be joined by these lovely gentlemen? This is what are going to get me through the evening. I've been excited all day for this. Royal Ascot preview, fine gents, and of course, bottom right hand of your screen, Sam Hart from Next Gen Racing. Sam, the biggest flat fan I know. How are you ahead of Royal Ascot?
Look, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I get the same feeling that everyone does in the couple of weeks leading up to Cheltenham. I get absolutely buzzed for this meeting. There is nothing better than this meeting. It's just such good atmosphere. There's 5 days. There's a lot to go through. You've got to be clever with your stakes during this meeting. Very good, and it's a pleasure to be back on with you guys. The last time I was on, I was having match bets with Harry, and I just want to say that I've honoured these bets, and I've purchased Harry a ticket to Goodwood. He'll be joining me on the opening day of Glorious Goodwood. He's purchased himself a ticket for Sussex Stakes Day as well, and he also owes me a couple of beers from a match bet that he lost. So it's great to be back with you, lads. I'm sure we'll get something else in with Harry during the show.
I'm sure you'll be able to reel him in easy. Harry, it's gonna be easy to reel you in throughout the night. It's gonna be Sam from one corner, me from the other. Lee's gonna be chuckling there. It's 3 against 1.
I know it's not good, is it, Ash? I mean, I was in Zante this time last year. I went through the first cut. I went through the first day. I went through the whole card. The second day, I went through pretty much the whole card. And then as soon as I came home, it just went bad. It just went bad. So I'm back home. I'm hoping that my luck has come back over from Greece, and do you know what? We're going to find a few winners. We are going to find a match bet, me and Sam, along the way, and I'm sure there'll be a few nibbles flying around later on in the show. So make sure you stay tuned.
You've already after time like you have to time on Twitter. There's no change between you, Harry, between streams and Twitter. Lee, Royal Ascot, we've got plenty of races to go through. We're going to have to be quick through it, but we're going to get through it, and it's exciting. Royal Ascot, I cannot wait.
Yeah, I do. I love the meeting, to be fair. I'm not die hard like Sam, but actually like the handicaps more, and you look spread across that field, you know, coming down the mail there. It's good to get your teeth stuck into big price ones, especially in them handicaps. So yeah, looking forward to next week.
Looking forward to next week, and the race that kicks it off, the Group 1 Queen Anne Stakes. Looking forward to this one. Quick story about last year. I had first-time press, went to set off and get there 3 hours beforehand. Flat tyre wouldn't come off. I got in just as Bolide was leaving the parade ring, so I got into Ascot just in time. Hopefully I'll get there in better time this year. But looking at the betting, we have got a short price fab, but it's nothing Bolide related. Modern Games 7-4. Inspiral making her first start since Ascot, 15th of October. That was Champions Day for Frankie Dettori, 15-8. Native Trail, interesting 6s. Chindit was quite good behind Modern Games and tried to bite him, obviously, in the lock-ins, 10-1. I'll go Sam, open it up to you first of all. What do you like in the opening race?
Yeah, it's a cracking race to kick us off, isn't it, Ash? With these two at the top of the market, Modern Games, who's just looked exceptional, really consistent over this trip, and he does look the most likely winner. The one worry you'd have with Inspiral is just her inconsistency. And you mentioned there the last time we saw her was on Champions Day at Ascot, and she blew the stalls. She didn't seem quite right at the stalls, to be totally honest, and ran a bit of a stinker. And I just couldn't trust her. And at the prices there, I'd rather have something with a smaller stake each way in the race. And the one I looked down and looked for was Triple Time in the race, who is a fairly big price. It was actually an intended runner in the lock-ins. They withdrew the horse just before, I think it was the morning of the race. And
that was Vets. Was that Vets?
Yeah. Yeah. But they obviously seem happy now. They've declared the horse. Kevin Ryan and I think Neil Callan's taken the run. I'm a big fan of Neil Callan. I think he's a good judge of pace. That's the one thing I say about Neil. So he'll know where to put this horse, and he'll get this horse finishing well. But a very unexposed horse, had a really good 2-year-old campaign. And then as a 3-year-old, it was a bit on and off. I mean, only had the 2 runs. One of those was in the Superior Mile at Haydock, where this horse won really impressively, and then went out to France in the pre-Daniel Wildenstein and finished on really disgusting going behind Erevan, who unfortunately doesn't actually turn up here, got removed from the race. But I think Triple Time, this horse is just a fairly big price. They had big aspirations for this horse. They were hoping as a 3-year-old that he could run in a Guineas, and they thought he could be good enough to go close in a Guineas. So I'd imagine he has all the ability there, and you're probably getting a bigger price now because he didn't run in the lock-ins than what you would have done if he had run the lock-ins. I think he would have run really well in that race and finished in the frame. So yeah, I think Triple Time 28-1 is a too big a price.
I like it. He was one I like for the lock-ins as well. I thought potentially this might be a bit more of a competitive race, but I still like the angle into it. Lee, open it to you. You want a bit of a price here?
Yeah, I've took one of the price like Sam. Lucille, I do like. Look, you got Modern Games in there who won the lock-in, and I thought one impressive. But the likes of Inspiral being off 248 days, just temp as the enthusiasm. Native Trail second to Mutasarbeck. I didn't think that was good form from Native Trail, and Chindit, yeah, just likes the track, likes the course, but yeah, I just thought if it had a chance, it was the last time out, and I think this one's a hot race to kick things off. So I like Lucille, big price, 33-1. Each way I'll take. Won the Group 2 Jim Crack a couple of years back. Was 4th in the Group 2 Champagne Stakes. That was behind Bayside Boy, who won the Group 1 last season. Then was 2nd in the Greenham. That was behind Perfect Power, who went on to win the Commonwealth Cup. There's plenty of form lines in with Lucille, and I just think only being beaten a length by Chindit, who went on to run 2nd in that lock-inge over the course. I just thought 33s was overpriced, so I'd rather take each way a chance with Lucille against the ones at the top of the market.
Lovely stuff. Have myself on mute there. I just realised at the end. Harry, good case made there, but you like one at sort of an each way price as well.
Yeah, I do. Listen, don't get me wrong. I think Modern Games and Inspire, I do believe they're going to swap in the market. I think the Frankie factor, Royal Ascot, his final bout year, you can just see Inspiral going off favourite here, despite her being off for 248 days. So it's a long, long time, and she has got to take on race fit rivals. And when I say race fit, these are ones that you obviously got the lock-inge winner, you've got the horses who are in behind that day, and you've also got group winners elsewhere in the race as well. So it's not going to be any easy task for Inspiral, even though she's getting the wake. So I have come down on Mutasarbeck, who I just believe that the lock-inge run was only beaten 3 lengths after trying to make all again. But I think it was a race that just came a little bit too quick for him, especially after his Group 2 win at Newmarket at the start of May. So I think with this little break, I think Mutasarbeck will definitely reverse the form with Chindit, because of those two are kind of quite closely linked back to their Ascot run last July. Jim Crowley has already said that he believed that the race came too quickly. So I think Mutasarbeck has a big chance. I won't be surprised to see him feature in this at all.
That lock-inge is probably the key form for this race, isn't it?
It is. You're looking there, and obviously you've got Modern Games, you've got Chindit, you've got My Prospero, who's obviously I think is My Prospero got an entry later on.
He's going Prince of Wales, isn't he?
Yeah. So listen, I think the lock-inge, if this form stacks up, this could lead on to Royal Ascot, and it could be a massive player for later on in the races leading up. So as well, so
it could be, and I think I'm with the Fav here. Unfortunately, I thought about chopping and changing. I had Triple Time in mind. I had Mutasarbeck in mind, but I decided to stick with the Fav here. I thought his run was really, really good in the lock-inge. Came off the bridle early. kept sticking at it. Like bit of track bias potentially, like that's why it's sort of like the angle in with Mutasabek. I feel like the near side runners are getting an easier time of things, but I've William Buick is he came off beaming after this horse. He really came off walking through, talking to the press, saying he's a proper just like a high class miler, and he'll still probably be underrated for it. So I really like Modern Games as a horse.
Would
now.
you,
Really
Ash? Would you be going in 7-4, or would you be hoping for a bit of 2-1 or something like that?
I'd be going in at the price. I'd be happy to back it, and I could see it going off 2-1, which wouldn't worry me.
Just quickly, the Charlie Appleby form did dip, but it's now coming, in an upward trajectory for like these type of races. So he's actually hitting form this week, I would have said.
There's a couple of Newmarket trainers that are having a bit of an iffy period around that as well. So it might just be Newmarket in general, just a couple of trainers having a bit of an issue. But yeah, Modern Games for me, I do actually like all three of your each way selections there, but I can't back 9 horse in the race as much as I like to. So
you try.
I do try sometimes. Modern Games for me, we'll go to the King's Stand, a race I really enjoyed last year. I watched it in a track because that's where the sort of media tent is. We watched it in a track. I watched it with Josh Stacey and Adam Nicol. Jack Nichols, sorry. Adam Nichols, the trainer, watched it there. Nature Strip was absolutely brilliant. And hopefully we get to see a similar performance. Highfield Princess 5-2. Plenty of people like this and think it's going to be as simple as this horse wins. Coolangatta 7-2. Dramatized 6s. Bigger about the rest. I'll go back over to Sam. What do you like in the King's Stand?
Yeah, look, Highfield Princess. I mean, what a story with this horse for the Queen Yard. It is an unbelievable story, and wouldn't you just love to go and see her win this? And she is the most likely winner. You'd have to say her run at York was just a perfect prep for this. She's an older horse. She probably needed that run, and even she did need that run. She ran an absolute blinder. So she's going to be well primed for this, and she's going to be one where they're going to have her lined up for the race on Saturday as well. So we've seen horses do it before, and she could be one if winning this going for the double. But the horse I liked in here, it was one where I looked for prices again, because the King's Stand is a big field usually, and it can throw up some big prices. And it's not a Royal Ascot preview without mentioning a Wesley Ward horse, is it? And he's got a potential rocket on the card, I think on Thursday in the Norfolk with American Rascal. But he had a proper rocket.
He won't have one winner. He won't have one winner.
There's your
this could be it. This could be it then. Wesley Ward to have a winner. I mean, I think Twilight Gleaming here is a really good each way price. Really good. You've got to remember that this horse ran second in the Queen Mary's, a 2-year-old. It wasn't a vintage Queen Mary, was it? Behind Quick Susie, but it was on quick going, and look, she looked very good that day. She then went on as a 3-year-old. She ran really well. She actually finished in October behind a horse called Caravel, who went on to win at the Breeders' Cup and has since won many group races since that. So the form of that was very strong, beaten by a much better horse, and has come out in April and won at Keeneland in the Giants Causeway Stakes. That's a listed contest, but look, just well on top of everything in the field. And if that horse needed a run, that horse is going to take a massive step forward. It's going to get £3 on the day. I think this horse will run a blinder under Irad Ortiz Jr., but Harry's going to completely disagree with me there.
I'm going to jump in and say I was with you all the way. I even had the same notes. It was a Quick Susie second, but not vintage. So it's just the course form's there, but it wasn't a vintage renewal. I really liked this horse, but there was one that just nudged it ahead. And Harry also likes the same horse that I do in the number 1 spot.
Yeah, Twilight Calls for me and you, Ash. I put this horse up as one of the 3 best bets, I thought. 25-1, 20-1, 16 sim places. But I do think that's because of Ryan Moore coming on board. I think that's a big thing for this horse. And listen, obviously he was second last year behind the horse that I actually napped for the week, Nature Strip, that fairly pissed him.
Because you're such an Australian shrew. You knew that back of your hand, obviously. He's in the know.
Listen, we've had Italian form lines. And James McDonald, to be fair, he gave me a call on them. He said, just get stuck into this. And I said to him, it's going to cost you here because I'm abroad, James. And he said, no, absolutely fine. This will pay for your foreign calls. So Nature Strip fairly pissed him. We got that one sorted.
I'm fairly sure that's the last winner you've tipped, right? I'm right in saying.
I've tipped more winners than you in the last couple of weeks, so swivel on that one. And
if I had the time, I'd go back through.
We'll have a gander. But anyway, Twilight Calls, Ash, we need to get down to this one. Was only 4 lengths behind Nature Strip, and it was actually a really good run. I thought just missed the break actually in the race last year, and still made really good headway. If Nature Strip wasn't in the race, this would have, I mean, obviously it was second, but it looked a winner for a long way out, and Nature Strip just was away and gone there. Ascot record is very good. who's only been there, I want to say twice, and second twice as well. So both ground and draw are obviously going to be an important factor. But I think the ground and draw can be an excuse for her last two runs. If you look at them, they don't look that good on paper. But you look at the run behind Dramatise last, a couple of weeks ago. There was a massive draw bias at Haydock, and there still is. There was, I think, today or yesterday, there was a huge draw bias at Haydock. So Twilight Calls, draw and ground dependent. I hope there's some positives there to take. And I think 20 to 1's a big price, and you're the same as well, aren't you?
Yeah, I mean, you've covered pretty much all the bases. Good run last year. Just like a decent horse. You can have excuses for Newmarket is soft ground. Not sure how many excuses you can have for Haydock. Maybe just I'm like turning a blind eye to that slightly. I think she's a lovely horse. He's a lovely horse, sorry. And yeah, I think you got a good chance here. And I'm going to be doing the Twilight forecast. Lee, what do you like in this?
I like the two girls in it, Dramatized, the filly, and also the mare Highfield Princess. I think Dramatized ran a solid race last time, won the Group 2 Temple Stakes, had been beaten by Mischief Magic in the Turf Sprint, the Group 1 in America, and had won the Queen Mary on this track last season. But I'd just take Highfield Princess. I think winning the Nunthorpe, that is the best form in this, and also the Flying Five as well at the Curragh. I just think this triple suit and the track will suit as well. And second, like Sam says, perfect prep last time out, second over 6 furlongs in the Group 2 Clip-Eyed York there. So yeah, can't get away from the favourite. I just think it's Highfield Princess or Dramatized to take it.
Can I just quickly mention that the fact that the world pool is going to be massive during Royal Ascot this year, and obviously, everyone across the world can get involved with these races, and there's loads of bets. And I was on there was a preview even the other night of Harry Finley, and the bet in this race, it's the best bet you can have in this is the swinger bet. And a swinger bet's where you've got to pick two horses to finish in the first three, and you've got to imagine if they're a massive pool playing this, there could be a massive pot. And it's a bet that I'll be playing on some of the big kind of handicaps and races this week, especially with the tote and the world pool, because you make some good money if you can land them. So yeah, two in the first three. I think I'll be looking for that. I think Twilight Calls and Twilight Gleaming would definitely be two in mine.
Yeah, big event for Whirlpool. I've been working with them with the new job. They do the stuff for the socials. A good video coming out tomorrow, Frankie Dettori, about his best silks and stuff like that. So without being sponsored by Whirlpool here, they do some good content. So check it out today. Lovely stuff. Quickly on to the St. James's Palace, then, gentlemen. Final race will cover on the first day. Still got 4 more days to go. You're still with us. Caldien, 9-4, topping the market. Paddington has come to level prices on that as well, 9-4. The 2 Guineas winners. Cicero's Gift, 4-1. Charlie Hill's been talking about this one for a while. Mustabshire in there at 7s. Bigger price about the rest. Lee, I'll fire back over to you to see what you fancy of St. James's.
Look, well, we've got the English Guineas winner and the Irish Guineas winner in Caldien and Paddington. It's whichever you think probably is the best form. But I just thought I'll take a chance. Royal Scotsman bounces back. Each way price there was only a couple of lengths behind Caldien and the Guineas, and it's got form at the track from last season. I'm just going to take the chance at that big price and that the favourites on up to scratch maybe after the Guineas wins. So I just thought, I think it's around 14s maybe for Royal Scotsman to bounce back. I'll take that one each way.
Yeah, it's interesting about that horse. Paul Cole was at Newbury the Friday at the Lockinge meeting, and he was talking about it, and they was like, oh yeah, all systems go for St. James's Palace. And then they sort of just like out of nowhere just went, oh yeah, we're supplementing for the Irish Guineas. You can understand why, but it just seemed like maybe if he was working that well at home, they were happy to go to something like the Guineas and try their luck at St. James as well. But interesting about that horse, the race planning.
I can forgive a horse one bad run. You can always forgive one run. If it doesn't do anything now, then look, you can maybe put him on the bad list, but you can always forgive one bad run. It got sent off 6-4 favourite, don't forget, for that Guineas. So there's plenty of money about, plenty of strong support, and just obviously they didn't go to pan. So yeah, I'll forgive it at them prices and take it each way against the favourite.
Lovely stuff. Harry, you've got one at a price, and it's scary that we're sort of agreeing again, because I also like this horse as well.
Yeah, I think this horse has been. I mean, actually, you'll definitely agree. This horse is a massive, massive price. especially with the form lines this horse has got. And I know was basically tonked in the Guineas, but I mean, how many horses have we seen? Little Big Bear, we've seen obviously the Derby winner, Gus Rodin. Some of these horses just did not take to the Guineas at all. And the ground can be an excuse. Now, Caldien was very impressive. Don't get me wrong. He got his head down. He got on with it, and he was very impressive the way he won. Whether those two, Caldien and Paddington, they've had tough races, and I'm not denying the fact that Royal Scotsman, who was also in there, he's running both Guineas now, hasn't he? But Indestructible, if you go back to the race, his penultimate start, he beat the Foxes by a length and a quarter, and he did everything wrong that day. And he has got these tendencies to just pull his way to the front, and there's no way anyone could do anything about it because he's just banged straight at it and he's away and gone. But if you just go back to his York run, he was only half a length behind Caldien, and that was on good ground. Then went to Doncaster, it was soft ground. I think this horse wants rattling ground, and I think if his headstrong tendencies can get him to the front, if Kevin Stock can somehow manage to get him settled, and he's been on him the last twice, won on him once, I think this is a massive price, Ash. I really do. This is one of the liveliest outsiders I've seen in a long, long time. And Indestructible is a decent each way bet at 40-1.
Yeah, I agree. I had Galaron penciled in here, but I've changed it to Indestructible because I really, really like the form line of the Dante.
Do you know what? You are being sensible for once on this show.
No, it's never sensible to go over you, Harry, unfortunately. Look, Mostabshir was back in 5th that day, and Indestructible was, I thought, very impressive in the Dante Stakes. Really, really good. The Foxes come out to really frank the form. I do like this horse. I think he's got an absolute belting chance. Sorry, not in the Dante, in the Craven. I'm saying the Dante because the Foxes won the Dante next, but won the Indestructible won the Craven. And yeah, I think this horse got an absolute belting chance of 40s. I like Galaron. I thought he had a really nice run in the Irish Guineas, staying on quite nicely. Bit of an interrupted run as well. Had to weave his way to the outside, bumped a little bit by Royal Scotsman, then stayed on the line. He can run a massive race. I wouldn't put you off him as well. So I'm taking 2 there, 33 and 40-1. But Sam, you like the Mostabshir angle in this?
I do. It's interesting about Galaron that you mentioned that, though, because Harry's mate James McDonald's been jocked up to ride that from what I've heard.
Yeah, so he actually told me that this morning, so...
There we go. I think I actually think this is the race of the week. I don't know. I think speaking to Jack this morning, he has the same opinion because this is a cracker. You've got the English Guineas winner, you've got the Irish Guineas winner, you've actually got the French Guineas form being tested with Isaac Shelby, who's in a battle with Mojave Sanafi in the French Guineas. So it really is fascinating. I think Al Riffa is very interesting in the field. Yeah, this horse here is the scary one because this horse won who knows? But this horse here was the anti-post favourite for the Irish Guineas. It was an 11-10 anti-post favourite. Won the national stakes last year. Who knows if Al River turns up, what we're going to see from that horse, from Joseph O'Brien, because he was very positive in his stable tours about that horse. So I'll be worried about him. But the one I'm with is Mostabshir. You can ignore the run in the Craven, just completely wipe that, and then go to the run where we saw this horse win at York. And look at the form that run, 5 lengths ahead of a stablemate in Zerhab for the Gosden Yard. That horse since came out and hacked up at Leicester. The 4th that day was New Business. I watched New Business win at Kempton the other day. That was really impressive. The form's all there. And I think just at the prices, like Harry said, Caldien and Paddington, they've had hard races. You'd rather look to try and take them on. Cicero's Gift's been well over bet. Was actually a good price at 8-1 one stage, but now being 4s, I wouldn't be touching that, but could be very impressive. But I think Mostabshir, I think he could turn out to be a very smart horse, and he's probably like an each way bet to nothing if some punters like to do that.
I mean, Ash, just quickly, we've made cases for a few horses here. Like Indestructible is the second rank outsider, if you like to say. You could make cases for every single one of these and sell it to someone who has no clue about horse racing. Like you literally could. It's so wide open. I think
the game should stop when they start buying your tips, Harry. If people start buying your tips, the game should cease to exist. Just like straight after that. Yeah. I only joke, of course. We'll move on to the next day then, the Wednesday. Duke of Cambridge Stakes. Interesting race this. As my screen messed up a little bit there. But yeah, real good contest this to start off what should be a good day, and we're hoping that it should be a good race with the Prince of Wales Estates. But Duke of Cambridge, decent mares and fillies in here. Jubilee top in the market, 9-4. Laurel, Freeze, Prosperous Voyage, winner at Derby weekend, 6s. Grand Dam, 14s, bigger about the rest. Sam, back over to you to see what you fancy in the Duke of Cambridge.
Yeah, it's not. This is never a race that I'm actually that fond of, Ash, to be totally honest. And I did actually like a horse who was taken out this morning in Heredia at a massive price, but she came out, and I think Jubilee would be the most likely winner here. Just looked on stable debut for Joseph O'Brien, looked really impressive, finishing second at the Curragh. I got a feeling this horse will just continuing to improve. I think 9-4 is not the worst price in the world, but it's not a race that I can make a strong case in, and probably a race I'll be leaving alone.
Lee, you also agree?
Yeah, I think Jubilee ran a good race the last day, bought by is it the Tables? I think was running Mrs. Tables colours there. I think Ryan had a 4-time on that day, and then was the only one that kind of got trapped in for him and come home well. And I thought she ran a solid race, first time up for Joseph. Laurel Luck's got to step up again because disappointed the last day and has to bounce back. Graham Dam, I think, has to step up in class as well. Queen Aminatu, I know you're going to mention her, and I do think she's got a solid chance. Maybe's handles the all-weather better. Won at Newcastle, come flying home the last day at Lingfield. Maybe's better on the all-weather, but I still think she can run a solid race. But yeah, it's hard to get away from Jubilee and that wily old fox of Tom Siegel. He's put Jubilee up, so the prices come crashing in, sadly. But you can find Tom's tips in the racing post. There you go, Sam. I've got the plug in. You can go and find Tom's tips in there. But look, the prices come crashing in, so it's no price, but it's the obvious win, I would have said.
You can find the tips of Paul Keeley in the Racing Post as well, and he's done me for a price on Perotto. So we're all a bit sad about the Racing Post tipsters currently. And another one who agrees with Jubilee, scary, 3 people on 1 horse, Harry.
Yeah, we mentioned this horse before she ran at the Curragh last time out. She was bought for an absolute bomb. And
when you say we, I think it was me and Ash.
I definitely mentioned Jubilee.
You didn't, did he, Ash? Don't lie.
I definitely.
I have a doubt there.
I didn't put her up, but I definitely mentioned. it because I was just taken by how much she was bought for.
Yeah, she went for a lot, didn't she?
And they're clearly looking for some really nice black type, and I think it was a very good run last time. Obviously, Billy Lee's horse was just away and gone for Paddy Toomey. Just beautiful. I think that is a really smart horse, you know. The horse that beat her last time out. I wouldn't be surprised if she was to go on to big things this year. Obviously beat Oscula last year. Jubilee did, which is obviously great form. We know what Oscula went on to do. And another one that was sold for an absolute shed load at the sales, I believe. So listen, it's a wide open race. I can't have Laurel for the life of me. If you put a gun to me, I'd say that horse won't even come in the top 3. So if you did put a gun to me, I'd have said who will win. I think Jubilee will.
Confidence there. As sort of Leah alluded to there, Queen Aminatu, basically it's a case of if she turns up, she keeps getting entered for these races and she just keeps not going. And I really hope she does. I thought she did a cracking run behind Sacred the last day. She's got really good form on the all-weather, like Lee said, and her turf record is, well, her last run on the turf, she was 7th of 8th, but that was on soft ground. So I think she's got a great chance. She's a great.
Ascot, though.
Yeah. I just think she's brilliant. I think she's a great filly, and there's a big one in her. Whether it's this Duke of Cambridge, you know, like I think she hits the frame. Basically, I think she's a cracking bet at 20s, and there is 20s about her. So I think we'll go for that. Taking on the lads, we'll see what happens there. Prince of Wales' Stakes, gentlemen, a race I'm really looking forward to with the horses involved. There should be some absolute great clashes and some big opinions, I'm sure, from all of us. Luxembourg 2-1 for Aidan O'Brien, beats Bay Bridge, who's also in the line at 4s. Adyar 9-4, My Prospero 7-2. Interesting entry, I think, is Dubai Honor as well. 16s from the William Haggis stable. Who am I going to go to first? I am going to go to my fellow fancy man in the fact that we fancy the same horse, Sam.
Yeah, My Prospero. Ash, talk about using a Group 1 as a trial for another Group 1, but I think that literally My Prospero used the lock-in, and you watched this horse's run, and it just screamed, this is us prepping for a 10-furlong race, and this is what's happening. And I just got this feeling, the way that Tom Marquand talks about this horse, is he knows how good this horse could potentially be. Go back and look at this horse's runs as a 3-year-old. Ran really well winning out in France, I think at Saint-Cloud, but came third in a champion stakes, and it was a hot champion stakes, wasn't it? I know it can get a bit messy that time of the year, and you can get some shock results, and we saw Bide get beat that day, but he did look. He stays. He actually would probably get a mile and a half. I wouldn't be surprised if he could get a mile and a half. And in a race like this, where you can see a bit of pace, it will just completely suit him. I can see Tom keeping him quite quiet, and then seeing him come with a really strong run. I think Adayar. Look, we know this horse is a former Derby winner and has won a King George. Like, we know you can win around this course, but I actually think he's just a mile and a half horse. I wonder whether he's quick enough for a mile or two. He has got the talent. We know that. And Luxembourg, well, that horse is just, he's a proper, like, he's going to be one of those globe-trotting stars for Aidan O'Brien, isn't he? You could see him as an older horse going around the world. But look, I think My Prospero is the bet, the young horse and the improving horse. He'd be the one for me.
Yeah, and like he's always been like My Prospero's always been regarded as like the second best horse in Haggis's yard behind Baaid, and it's like there's a gap, but there's also a gap from My Prospero to the rest, and they've always liked this horse. I thought it was interesting as well. He slipped after the line, didn't he, at Saint Cloud when he won?
Yeah.
And he got injured, and then they came back for the champion stakes. It was a bit of a rush as well, and he ran an absolute like screamer, and the yard obviously didn't fancy him. He went off 22s when Baaid was obviously, you know, the big one there. And the lock-in, I got suckered into it thinking he's quick enough for a mile. He wasn't, but I didn't realise how much he stayed on at the line. I thought he just completely dropped out the back of the TV, and he stayed on at the line. I've liked this horse for a while. Someone commented on the video we did a couple of weeks ago talking about Royal Ascot, saying, why hasn't Ash put up My Prospero at 8s? I wish I could go back in time and put the horse up at 8s, because now 7-2. It's still a big enough price. Adiyar, love the horse, great temperament. Question about ground for me personally. I know it's one of the
Ash, what was the 1, 2, 3 in the champion stakes?
It was My Prospero was third. I can't really remember.
Bay Bridge won it.
Go on, you fancy the horse?
Go on, Harry. Go on, Harry.
Go on.
I said at the start of this video I'd get some nibbles, and I literally have
a messy race.
But no, you couldn't say messy race, but the best horse won at the end of the day. Bay Bridge was beaten only half a length by Luxembourg last time out. I think if I thought the horse was unlucky, some people said, I'll open this up, lads. Did you think Bay Bridge was a little bit unlucky? I thought Luxembourg was away and gone with it. And I think when you give him Ryan Moore a little bit of rope, you just can't do it. So I think Bay Bridge, if he has a trouble-free route, I think he'll reverse the form. And listen, if he holds his champion stakes form up, he should win.
Can I say something about this unluckiness? Obviously, he did get boxed in a little bit by Pisbadil, but at the same time, he got boxed in by Pisbadil at the 2-pole and then got a gap at the 2-pole, and Luxembourg went a length clear, and then he still didn't go past. Like,
he kept finding, Luxembourg kept finding, didn't he? He was always finding more. Like,
but then I think you're in Aidan's backyard at the Curragh Ryan's Road of 4 time.
Are you? You're. I thought you were saying that you're in Aidan's backyard. So you're
I'm
in with
just saying,
James McDonald and Aidan.
Leave James out of this one. Leave James. James hasn't got a rod unless he picks up a spare somewhere. He hasn't got one at the minute. But I just think coming back home, this horse has put his best performances here at Ascot. It was a very good run at Royal Ascot last year behind State of Rest. For Joseph O'Brien, but again, I do understand your concerns with the fact that with a horse who likes to just find, he is a little bit vulnerable. But I'm sticking with him. Bay Bridge for me.
And Lee, you're also with Bay Bridge as well to complete the fancies for the Prince of Wales.
You know what? I feel like you've made a good case for your horse, but I do think Bay Bridge is probably the best in. I feel like it's between the top 4 and it's hard to get away from them. It's just whichever turns up best on the day. I did think Luxembourg kept finding, like Sam said, once I watched it back, I backed Bay Bridge, so I was annoyed, and I thought it was because the raid. It wasn't. Luxembourg kept finding, and but yeah, you're kind of swaying us towards your lad. So
Don't let them.
A job well done, Sam. Congratulations to us
you know
too.
what? A job well done. It probably is. But,
he is that good. He used a Group 1 as a trial. That's how good he is.
I just look. It's whatever turns up on the day out of them 4. I would have said Adiyar and what's the other one? Luxembourg, Bay Bridge, and your lad. So like, it's between the 4, but I wouldn't have a strong opinion. I'm not gonna lie.
Can I just say, just in case my Protra gets a torrid run through, chuck some each way money on Dubai Honor. I backed this horse for last year's Prince of Wales. Put it up on Twitter, was just like disgusted when they didn't go, and then they went globetrotting with it and did really, really well. He's a good horse. It's whether he's as good as his stable.
You're already
so
making excuses for my perspective.
the Haggis one too. The Haggis 1-2, there you go. We'll have it.
Jack's put it up as well. Dubai Honor has put it up as an each way bet in this race. He thinks it's fantastic each way bet if he goes.
I think it's fantastic each way bet. You can have my Prospero win and Dubai Honor comes a nose second. There you go. We're going to clip this clip up and it's going to go horrendously well.
I'm clipping it up.
We'll move on, gentlemen, before Harry gets any more in. Ribblesdale stakes on the Thursday, 1.5 miles. Infinite Cosmos is 11-2. Blue Stocking 6s. Save the Last Dance 7. Solstice to 7s. Be Happy 12. It's a case, Sam, of it's not a case of who wins. It's a case of who goes, isn't it? Apart from, obviously, the horse I have missed is the one that you're going to fancy at the top of the market.
Well, this is it. Not all the markets have updated as of yet, but I think there is sort of our CIFA needs to be supplemented, and it's 4 to 5 is the current price. And fantastic to see her come here. We want to see the best horses at Royal Ascot, and it's fantastic that they've said we're going to strike while the iron's hot. And I was there at Goodwood Sunday. I mean, it was a listed race, which is usually run at Newbury, but it was run at Goodwood. And oh my word, this is one of the best visual performances I've ever seen on course. Like, it was just magic to be there. Like, there wasn't a massive crowd there at Goodwood, but the crowd really respected how good this was. And you don't often get that at kind of a smaller day at Goodwood, but a big applause went up for this horse. And Tony Ennis in the commentary saying this horse is good. This horse could be very good. I think this horse could be exceptional. I actually think we've seen, a horse that would have ended up winning the Oaks if having being ready for it. I think she's top class. One of the best race horses I've seen on track for a long time. I know we're talking early days, but I think she could be really special. I think 4 to 5. Look, we're going to see Save the Last Dance probably come out. We'll probably see Solstice to the Oaks winner come out. Azazat's also in there for the World Stable. She's going to be running at Cork on Friday. So I'd imagine you see a lot of these drop out, and trainers now seeing our CIFA in here. Surely they're going to think, God, do we really want to take this on, or do we find something else for our horse? So you wouldn't be surprised if it's actually a slightly smaller field than originally it was going to look. And yeah, it could actually, for me, it's a bet our CIFA 4 to 5 at this time, but I think the horse could end up going off 2 to 5.
That's just great to hear. And I know that Harry and Lee like it. I'm going to go quickly over to you because Sam's made a great case. Harry, very quickly, why you like the horse?
I don't need to say anything else. Sam has just summed it up. This is probably the only time that we will agree, Sam, and it's on a 4 to 5 shot. So
wouldn't it be fun if it loses? Wouldn't it be fun if it loses? The one time you agree.
I can't see her losing.
Nah.
Literally, I'd be amazed if she put anything near that performance that she performed last week, where I watched it in the back of I shouldn't even say this because I might get sacked. In the back of a warehouse, it was just. It was breathtaking.
Is that a P45 I hear on the way?
Yeah.
She by the way, she should have gone for the Deanne this weekend. I think she's a lot better. I think she's 10 times better than Running Lion is. I don't actually give that horse a hope on Sunday, and I think that our CIFA would, if our CIFA had turned up, I think our CIFA would have beaten Blue Rose Sen. My head would have come to sense there. I think this horse is honestly
that's a loss from class. You and all.
Yeah, I think this is top class horse, lads.
Lee, it's a big claim from Sam there. You like the horse as well?
Yeah, no, I loved the last performance and just everything Sam says. I do think I was saying to Sam before, he was saying Never Ending Story is going to go to France at the weekend, and Boogie Woogie might not go. If they were the chosen couple from Aidan O'Brien, I do think they would have a shout. But they're still in it, like Sam says, though. Soul Sister, Save the Last Dance, Running Lion, all unlikely to go. So it just leaves the way for the favourite. So yeah, get stuck in.
As you can see by the score on the bottom, I'm taking a windy fancy at Dancing the Grass.
Why?
Is this the Charlie Johnson horse?
It is.
I can tell you today, after looking at the recording of watching it today, that Dancing the Grass has unfortunately been retired.
No way.
Unfortunately, he suffered a massive setback, and they've retired the horse.
That's really sad.
Yeah, it is really sad. It was, Charlie mentioned it on the show today, and it was a bit of a shock when I heard it as well. I didn't know it was coming, but yeah, Dancing the Grass. Their plan was to obviously go for the classics with this horse. They were planning to run it in the Oaks, weren't they? And they didn't get the chance. And unfortunately, it doesn't seem like it's gone well. So unfortunately, they've retired the horse.
It's a shame because you just look at it and you look at
Yeah.
that horse's profile, and I mean, the horse has only ran 5 times, but contested in 2 Group 2s and obviously the Guineas as well. Which
she ran a belter in the Guineas on ground that wouldn't have suited her
exactly.
Oh,
At
that's
200 to 1, at 200 to 1 as well.
Favorite to win now, Ash, is it?
Yeah, I genuinely, I went through the race, and because I was doing on the train, nightmare of a train was I completely forgot this horse was talking about it's going to get supplemented. So I was like, oh, why is it 11-2 the Fav, Infinite Cosmos? Why is it drifting? I was like, I genuinely didn't like anything else, and then I forgot this horse was going. So yeah, I'm with the Fav with you boys. So it's the first agreement.
Big shame though, Ash. It was a big shame. I agree. And yeah, she could have been a really talented horse for the Johnson Yard, and Charlie. He seemed upset that was the case, but it is what it is.
Well, I wish all of the connections the best there. Big shame about that horse. We'll move on then to the Gold Cup. Hopefully, I'll have a less windy fancy. At least hopefully I'll have a fancy in this one anyway. That'd be nice. Coltrane 3-1 topping the market. Eldar Eldarov, St. Ledger to Gold Cup route. It's not been done very, very much. 3-1. Emily Dickinson 7s. Courage Mon Ami 10s, Subjectivist 10s. Now, Sam, when we were taking in these fancies, I was very surprised that you weren't a Courage Mon Ami person. It sort of seemed, I thought that was the kind of horse you'd like, kind of thing. There's the Shrews pick. It's coming from that sort of background. The Goodwood form. I thought that would have been you all over, but you're not with that horse.
No, I'm not, and I can't understand the price. I know a horse is unbeaten, and you've got to respect unbeaten horses, but you look at the horse this horse beat at Goodwood. It was Agaggio, who is from the Gary Moore yard, and I love Agaggio, and Agaggio runs blinds at Goodwood consistently, but he ran a poor race last Sunday. Agaggio went from the front, and I just don't think the form's that good. I mean, maybe this horse is going to take a massive step forward again, but I'd have to say. I can't see why this horse is so short. Maybe it's the potential of the Frankie factor there. Coltrane, look, most likely winner, won the Sagaro Stakes, looked really impressed that day, won the 2.5 mile race, the handicap here as well, didn't he? And I think looking at that race back, and I watched it over and over, and I was there that day, and I know you were as well, Ash, but El Habib just looked like, I know on breeding, this horse doesn't look like he wants further, but he just showed like he wants further and further, because it was good to soft ground that day. I think this horse will prefer it even quicker, so hopefully we do get quicker ground. Was held up at the back. I don't think Azzini gave it the best of rides. I'd love to give him another crack, so I've got a lot of respect for Azzini as a jockey. And I just have a feeling he's going to be staying on like a boat. Whether he stays on enough to win it, I think it might be a bit tough, but I think, look, he was 40-1 a month or so back. He's now 20-1. I think he's a fantastic each way bet for the Kevin Philippard of 4 Yard, who they are an improving stable.
Pronunciation on point, Mr. Hart.
Qu'est-ce que tu penses aller, le français, ouais. the French stables are look, I obviously have massive respect for them, but I think Kevin Philippard of 4, he's a train to watch, a young lad who's going to have plenty of good horses come to him soon, isn't he? And El Habib, imagine this horse was a 200-1 shot in a derby once and end up being a potential Gold Cup Open. I've got a feeling he'll run a massive race each way, and I'm on at 40s, but I'd still be having an each way play at 20s in the rest.
I forgot that he got supplemented for the derby, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, and he was a massive prize.
They must have always thought that he's a fairly decent horse now.
Yeah.
But,
Should I quickly just mention, because I spoke about Charlie Johnson, just quickly on Subjectivist, what he had to say about that horse is he basically said that 2 years ago this horse was the best stayer in the world. We think we've got him right back to where he was. He has got to still prove that. He has been taking step forwards in his run, especially from Maidan and Saudi, but I think he could run a massive race. He's definitely the fly on the ointment. He probably is the best horse in the race if you go back on previous form, isn't he? He's 10-1, and if there was a gamble on the day and they got him there in good time, I think he'd go off a hell of a lot shorter, and he'd be the massive danger, wouldn't he?
Yeah, one horse that if their money comes in, you'd be a bit worried, I think. Lee, you are bringing it back to the 3 that we fancy for this race. We all fancy the 1. Go ahead, have first bat.
Yeah, look, Subjectivist, Charlie Johnson's yard is absolutely on fire. They're bagging and winning as left, right, and centre. But I do like Coltrane. Hard to get away from a horse that's won over the trip. Like Sam had said last season, I think it was the Queen Alexander, wasn't it? Over 2 mile 4. Won the Sagaro last time out. Was won on the ground, has beaten the likes of Trushan in cup races. So look, what's not in the favour of Coltrane, basically. Last time out form, handles the ground, likes the course, won over the trip. Like, all boxes ticked for me. So, yeah, Coltrane, I think, would be hard to beat. I think everything's went right, and this is kind of built up for this run.
Coltrane for me as well. Brilliant case made. Don't need to add anything else. Harry or Coltrane as well?
Yeah, simple as Ash. You just summed it up. Lee has done it perfectly for us. Course of distance winner at last year's Royal Meeting as well. I just think he takes all the beating, and I think Eldar Eldarov is the lay of the week.
Wow.
I've never really rated the horse, in fairness. I'd be in that camp. If someone said you're a layer or a backer, I'd be a layer. But we'll see how that goes.
I'd hope you're not a backer, especially after putting a case for Coltrane.
Lovely stuff. That's going to be something. That's going to be close to your nap, isn't it, as well, Harry? We'll get to that later. But it's that good of a bet that Harry will be whipping out the old
3 to 1's a cracking price. If you give me a match bet on Coltrane or Eldarov, James McDonald's getting a call and saying, "James, get that plane ready because I'm going to Australia," because that is an absolute all-in poker chips gone.
Fair play.
Harry, this is getting clipped, by the way.
Yeah.
Everything's clipped on this channel. Everything is clipped.
If Coltrane loses, there'll be a smile from me just because of what Harry said there.
How can you say that? You are a sick man.
It's just Harry, just you putting up horses just does something to me. It's just I have to instantly go against.
I don't want to know what you get up to in your spare time watching me put up horses. Now, I think we need to move on.
It'd be nice if you put one up that actually won though once in a while. The King Edward Stakes is the next race. First race we're looking at on the Friday. King of Steel 6-4, looking to back up the Derby form. See how worthwhile that is. Circle of Fire 9-2, Castleway 6s, continuous 9s. Older 10s, same price for Canberra Legends and Military Order, and bigger about the rest. Lee, I'll go to you first of all, because we both like the same horse, and I've managed to convince you to back this horse. A case made a job well done.
Hi, a couple of horses. I'm actually listening to you, Ash. Dubai Mail.
That is scary. Scary.
Dubai Mail is a horse that I like. Hopefully could bounce back from a disappointing Derby run. Had beat a rest over in France and had strong form lines. I know Harry loves my Italian form lines that I give on the live, but yeah, I just think the horses of Charlie Johnson's that run through a brick wall for you, basically. So I think that would have a chance if it went here. But look, I'll let you take it away with Bertinelli. Got a strong chance. Is it 25s now, though?
Indeed, it is.
Well, when you tell us, I did back it at 16, so I'm quite disappointed.
There's the value. There's the value.
The only value of the bloody win. So go on, tell them why it's going to win.
That is true. You cannot eat value. Bertinelli got a good chance here. Very interesting horse. Interesting. Aidan O'Brien sort of just came out like soon after the London Gold Cup win, like instantly talking to him. He was eyeing up this race. Like the only worry for me is that he's going to get better with age, and he could just be a better 4-year-old. Like he said, Aidan said he's very much like his dad in Justifies, just kept getting better and better. But he's very much like his dad in the fact of his frame, big frame about him, big horse, really like towered over second, third, and fourth in the Newbury Parade Ring. I love this horse. I thought his win was really, really good at Newbury in the London Gold Cup. Form that turns out always well, like season upon season. So, luck would have it. This will be the year that it lets it down. But I think Bertinelli's got a great chance in the King Eds. 25 to 1's a lovely price. And me and Lee are on.
The horse took a long time to wind up as well, and it was off probably a tough mark, I would have said, to be then winning that. It only kind of got going at the lane, I would have said, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. And I think he's got a great chance here. Sam, you like an O'Brien horse, but it's not Aidan.
Yeah, I do. I mean, King of Steel, we'll mention quick at the top of the market. Look, ran an absolute blind in the Derby. Would I be taking 6-4 in this Group 2 contest? Probably not if he turns up here. I'd let him happily go and win at that price. I think there's a little bit of each way value to be had. And Aldo is the horse, or Alder is the one for Donnacha O'Brien, who actually beat Bertinelli at Cork prior to his Chester run. And I thought he looked really, really good. And you can excuse the horse at Chester because they ran on soft ground that day. You can excuse any horse at Chester, really. But was beaten by a fair horse of Aidan's that day. And I don't know. I think back on a quicker surface for Donnacha O'Brien, who hasn't exactly had the best couple of years, to be fair. He started off really strong, but you wouldn't say he's been, at his strongest in the last couple of seasons. But I think he's got a fairly smart one here. I think Alder on quicker going, if that's the case, and I think it'd be an each way bet around 10s for me.
It's interesting they didn't go to the Derby as well when it was sort of like ends up all that way, and then they sort of took it out it was declarations they took out as well. They went for 5-day confirmation. They took out a deck, so it's interesting about that. But you mentioned King of Steel and Harry. That's your fancy for this.
Yeah, but it's not one that I'd be diving into. Obviously, it was a very, very good run last time out in the Derby, but then you've just got to think whether you take that horse with a pinch of salt. And I know Kevin Stott was a little bit. He was fuming when he got beat, and you would be.
Of course, you would be. Of course, you're second in the Derby. You know.
Yeah, you've come so. But whether that horse has had a hard race, and it was. It's only 3 weeks since the Derby, so that might have taken.
Do you like this horse, Harry? Is this the one you like?
Yeah, but King Seal is the one. If you put a gun to my head and said, "Go on, one," I think, but I wouldn't be diving in. And I think 6-4 is a little bit short. But if reproducing the Epsom form, it's most likely winning.
I'm sick of people putting guns to your head.
I've had too many guns to my head. Sam Hart puts a gun to my head every match bet.
Harry Beard looking for the new James Bond role, I think. We were plenty of guns.
I've got some Nerf guns in the loft.
I like I just made the case there, Harry, by saying, well, it's a short time since the Derby, 6-4 is short enough now. But yeah, no, I probably like it. Yeah, I just love that angle. It's just absolutely just flawless there. Commonwealth Cup, next race will go to a great race and one that we all have a fairly decent opinion on now. I think it's one that we agree on.
Let me go first. Let me go first.
Well, you might have the floor here, Harry. We'll go prices 15-8. Little Big Bear, Sakir 6s.
Right, done. No need to say anything else. No need to say anything else. Little Big Bear is absolutely the nap of the week.
Harry Finley's son's had his say.
Well, I cannot see for the life of me how this horse is still 15-8. I think we mentioned off camera, Sam, Harry Finlay mentioned, and he knows more about punting than I do, that this horse is more likely to go off odds on than it is odds against. So I just think when the Ballydoyle boys get stuck into Little Big Bear once again, and they did it at Haydock last time, they smashed the horse into odds on. Yeah. If the right money's down, there is no way Little Big Bear gets beat next week.
I wonder if there's a match bet I can have with Harry Finley, because I said off camera.
I thought you were going to say me then, because you can have what you like.
I wonder if Harry Finley, if you're out there, and obviously you're an avid viewer of the Only Fools of Horses YouTube channel, of course he is, everyone is. I wonder if you want a £5 match bet of what price Little Big Bear is going to go off, because I said off camera that he'd go off no shorter than 6-4.
He won't be having a 5 with you. You won't be having a 5 with you, actually.
All right, £7.50. All right, we'll go 3 meal deals. All right, come on, Harry, where are you? But we're all Little Big Bear. I'll go very quickly, Sam.
I'll keep it nice, short and quick. I think that this horse here is just a bit of a superstar. Won the Windsor Castle last year on quick going in a big field, so you wouldn't mind that. I think Sakir is definitely a worthy, challenger to Little Big Bear. We look at the form of the Guineas, and Harry mentioned it earlier. And this horse dropping back in trip, I always expected it to happen when they went for the Guineas, and I expect this horse drop back to 6. But I just think Little Big Bear's just got so much talent, so much speed, and I've got a feeling it'll be from here to the July Cup.
He's a big horse as well, isn't he? If I'm right in saying he's a big horse, and you looked at him against should have been a ring, and just dwarfed him.
Big bear, big bear,
big bear.
One of my favorite videos on all of racing Twitter is when he's doing the pre-season press stuff when Little Big Bear hasn't hit the track yet, and he literally goes, "What's the name? Little Big Bear," and then it's like, "Can I have a 5?" And he goes, "You can have more." I thought that was absolutely brilliant. He didn't even know the horse's name. It's like, you can have a bit more on. Lee, you like Little Big Bear as well, as do I.
Yeah, look, Ian O'Brien is just a wonder at these types. Look, he's got August Rodin to be, bounce back in the Derby and win the Derby, and then he had Little Big Bear, who we did mention. You mentioned Ash from the start. He was struck into. He was lame. Everything went wrong in the Guineas. You can rate that off. And to be fair, I always thought he was a Commonwealth Cup horse. then run in the Guineas. And I'm not trying to half that time, but I did think I kick myself now that, look, I am after timing, but I kick myself now to think that I didn't put it on after the Guineas, because that was kind of the route they're going to take. So look, to then bounce back at Haydock, he won in great fashion, and yeah, it's hard to see past them really.
Five lengths job.
Talk about clips. I'm going to crop that little picture of Harry there doing that there, because that was absolutely golden what he did there, Harry. So that will be a gif on Twitter in a couple of days time.
What the old hammer?
Yeah.
We need them when he puts a winner up. That could be winner.
Oh, so it will be gathering dust all season then if we put them up when Harry.
We'll never see that clip again.
I will just mention one horse. Shaquille is a horse that I do like. I don't know whether it's as good as Little Big Bear. That's why I'm with Little Big Bear, but I will be backing Shaquille each way because I am mentioning it here. Just 2 seconds, Lee. It's a very, very good horse, Shaquille. Took plenty of time to be pulled up by James Dorr the last day at Newbury. Took him to the 1 mile 2, just between the 1 mile 4 and the 1 mile 2 to actually pull the horse up. Whereas Noble Style, like, she got pulled up, like on the bend kind of thing. Really, really nice horses, like consistently progressive. I like the fact it showed that it can step up from a handicap to level weights races. And because it's not like if it was a horse coming from a very good handicap went into here, I'd be wary, but he's shown that he can. The time's brilliant on just good ground at Newbury. It wasn't good firm. It was Newbury good ground. The time's brilliant. Sectionals are great. Shaquille's a lovely horse, but Little Big Bear is the one.
It'll take him to the 2 pole.
There's a horse that we like, Ash, and I was just going to actually ask Sam, like, how do you think Aldersim will run back in this country? Does the Maidam form match up? George Boy's been going well. It's a horse that I like, and I know Ash likes too.
It looked a bit of a rocket out in Maidan and looked like the Commonwealth Cup. This was kind of just keep this horse fit leading into the Commonwealth Cup. Was beaten on the last start though, wasn't he? And a little bit of a concern there. But again, going back into sort of, his own age grouping, I don't know, he could run a massive race, but I think you got a lot to find with Little Big Bear. You really do.
Yeah,
it's smelling like a TriCast for Little Big Bear, Shaquille and Aldersim there. I can't wait. Coronation Stakes, gentlemen, 3 races to go. Let's get cracking through it. It's the race directly after the Commonwealth Cup, over the mile. Tahira 13-8 is what I was surprised at seeing that. Every other firm 4-5, 5-6, 10-11. William Hill a 13-8. If you haven't seen that, I don't know if that's a glitch on the Racing Post, but it says 13-8 on William Hill. So if it's there, I will be backing.
There's never a glitch on the Racing Post ever.
I'm just gonna have a look at that 13-8.
Yeah, Morge 11-4, Meditate 8-1, Queen for you 10s. I'll go Lee first of all. Tahira, is this the one for you?
Yeah, I was torn, and we were talking off camera, and look, Tahira's won well the last day. Has to turn it around with Morge. I do like Tarawa in the same colours for same connections, and I think that one could have a squeak at getting into the frame at around 20s. I think come home well the last day behind the favourite, but hard to see them turn form around. It's hard to pick between the two. I think Morge will go well, to be fair, but hard to get away from Tahira, who has that turn of foot.
Yeah, Tahira for me, and William. Well, the Racing Post must not have updated because Tahira is 4-5 on William Hill, which is an awful shame.
I was about
to have a bet.
I was loading up there. The Tarawa case, I think she's great. She was my eye catcher from Irish Guineas weekend, but again, don't see where the form is reverse. Harry, Tahira for you?
It is, but Morge isn't far behind. She was very, very game in the Guineas, and obviously Tahira's then had a race since as well. So Morge is coming in here effectively a race fresher horse. I think it won't be a problem for Tahira because I think the quicker ground is going to be more to her suiting than it is to. Did I say that right? It's going to be to Tahira's liking more than Morge. I think she prefers that softer ground to really get out her stamina. I think she looks a bigger horse She certainly looked on the TV. Moore's looked a bigger horse than Tahira, and I just think just out-battled her. But it's a tough test at Newmarket, and that ground, we've already mentioned, it found a lot of horses out, and we saw the real Tahira in the Irish Guineas, I should say. So for me, Tahira all the way.
Lovely stuff. And Sam, Tahira.
Yeah, I think Tahira will win it. I think there is a great bet if I can get sort of the 13 to 7-4 without the fav, it'd be Meditate. You just got to look at Meditate. Finish second behind this horse in the Irish 1,000 Guineas. You go back to last season as well. Finish second on soft ground behind Tahira. And I've just got a feeling, on this quicker surface, Meditate's going to absolutely love it. She absolutely relished it out at the Breeders' Cup, didn't she, when she absolutely hosed up there? And I got a feeling she's going to run a massive race. I wouldn't be surprised if she almost caused a little bit of a scare with Tahira. I don't think Tahira is going to win this as easy as some might think. I wouldn't be surprised if Meditate does end up in a battle with Tahira and Tahira just comes out on top. But I think Meditate's a very classy horse, quick going, and what Aidan's doing with some of these revived horses from the Guineas is unbelievable. So just be prepared for a big run from Meditate, I think.
English Guineas to Irish Guineas to Royal Ascot is not a route lots of horses do. So it'll be if Tahira wins a Royal Ascot, she will definitely go down as a very, very good horse. And fingers crossed she can and go on.
With Aidan's horses, if they're having a great week as well, that they're shorten a lot come Meditate's run, I would have said.
Yeah, definitely. Lovely stuff, gentlemen. Final day, final 2 races that we're going to be covering. The Group 1 Jubilee Stakes, and always an interesting race. This last year I sat in the house I was staying at, and I thought, that Naval Crown's interesting, dropping back from a mile to 6 furlongs. Did I back it? Did I bollocks? Artorias 4-1, Wellington 6s, ran a nice trial over in Hong Kong. That's why I come into this race. Highfield Princess could go 8. Sacred, Harry's old chum 9s.
Don't say that name to me.
Kinross 10s. I just absolutely love Sacred. Sacred's going to go down as a legend in my book. So the fact that Harry's backed her every single time, bar the time she's actually won. Harry, I will go to you though, because you do have a fancy. You're giving a little bit of redemption to a horse who was aggravating to you last year.
Aggravating is not the word, because I got this horse. I didn't back this horse in the winter period, and it really, really wound me up when I saw this horse just bolting both times at Meydan. It ruined me. And then I backed it the next time at Meydan and got beat at 11-4 favourites. So you just think, what has my life come to here? But am I going to be backing Elsa Hale at 14-1 on Royal Ascot? Yes, I am. Yes, I am. It has to happen, because I just think this quicker ground is definitely what this horse needs. I was all over this horse for the group. I think it's a Group 3. The horse, I can't remember the name of the race, but I think Kim Ross won the race at Doncaster. And I am 100% sure if that race was not run on soft ground, it was on quicker ground, Elsa Hale would have won. And half because I backed it. But I just think that this horse has ran really well round Ascot before. Has this Group 1 form on offer just from Meydan, for example, and other races. He's been contesting very good races. So I just think Elsa Hale, I'll give him one more chance, and that is his lot. But Sacred, if she wins, I will be absolutely sick as a dog.
I think there's a noise in your room, Harry. It's pocket talking, isn't it? About it's the pocket talking about Elsa Hale there. There's definitely something a little bit there.
We won't move to that. It's not an after time, so I don't have to get the old hammer out again.
No, but what it was an absolutely awful pun from me. Sam, you like one in this fairly each way price?
Yeah, no, get a mention for Sacred. I'm going to be working back with Sacred from the Lennox Stakes at Goodwood on the opening day there, and Harry will hopefully get to see that horse run on the day after having a few drinks. So I'm sure we'll be backing that horse no matter what.
We won't be backing that horse. We won't.
But the horse I do like is the horse that Harry actually mentioned, and it's Kinross, who actually beat Elsa Hale. I think it was the Park Stakes, was it? It was a Group 2, I believe. Yeah, that's it, Doncaster. This horse is really, really talented, isn't he? Really, really consistent. won the Foray at the back end of last season. They then went for a mile at the Breeders' Cup. This horse, he actually ran a big race at the Breeders' Cup, but he's just not a miler, is he? He's a 6 furlong, 7 furlong horse. And I think they're trying to find with the 6 furlong races a race that's got a big field where they can get a bit of pace and run it almost like it's a 7 furlong, like for a 7 furlong horse. And I've just got a feeling that's what they're hoping for here, is a bit of a burn up in front and do what he did in the Champions Sprint in October and come through and take it. I think he's quite ground versatile, which I quite like about him. He can win on soft going, he can win on quick going. And one thing you've got to remember with this horse is they're going to be planning this horse for the July Cup, because this is Frankie Dettori's ride, and it's the one Group 1 that eludes him in Britain. It's the only Group 1 he is not won is the July Cup, and Kinross will be the one for that. You can back about 12-1 for Kinross to win the July Cup, I think, but Frankie Dettori to win the July Cup's 3-1 as a special. So I can't quite work that one out. He's going to ride Kinross. He'll be on this on Saturday, and I've got a feeling he will hope this horse can win the July Cup for him and get that last Group 1 on the board.
Is that serious? That special 3-1, and then
yeah. Sky's free. I think the one thing you might consider is that Frankie rode Little Big Bear at Haydock. I know that's because Ryan was away, but was that almost like, because Aidan has given Frankie plenty of rides.
Yeah.
If the Big Bear turned out to be a rocket, and there are big American meetings the night of the July Cup, could Ryan go out to, I don't know where it'll be, and could Frankie be sat on Little Big Bear? That's the only thing that I would say is a potential option. I don't think it will happen, but I think that's the reason they're probably 3-1, just in case that were to happen.
He only gets on when Ryan cut. Like when Snowfall won the Oaks, what was Ryan out? Ryan was on something else, wasn't he?
Ryan was on Tuesday, wasn't he?
But if Frankie went, I want to win the July Cup, Aidan, I want to win the July Cup, give me this ride, he'll probably pay him good money to get it. He wants that July Cup. He needs it.
Right?
Yeah.
No. Ryan was on Tuesday.
That was a different year. You're a year too late for Tuesday. Tuesday won.
What was it?
When Snowfall won in like attritional conditions.
Like 20.
In the background, I'll go back and find out.
It was in the Bolshoi Ballet colours.
I'll go back and find out, Harry, as you're kicking yourself.
Oh, this is actually going to...
I'll put through all my fancy, because I actually do fancy one for this. You can suffer in silence over there, Harry. Emiratiana, 40-1 for me. Interesting runner for Kevin Ryan here. They did have it entered for the King's Stands, taking it out, I think rightly, coming for this race, because 6 furlongs probably gets the best out of this horse. Just looking through last season's form, like it was second at the Breeders' Cup over 5.5 on firm ground, second to Minzal at Haydock in the Sprint Cup over 6, third to Highfield Princess giving weight away, 6th in the July Cup to alcohol free. Like the form is very, very good with very, very good horses. I know he came to this race last year and was a bit disappointing. Fairly sure I backed it as well last year, but comes into this race had a nice, well, not a nice run, but had the cobwebs are blown off after the Duke of York Clipper Stakes when 9th of 10. So put a line through that. Just getting back to fitness. I think Emiratiana 40-1 is a bit of a massive price. Harry, have you got the answer for me?
It was Santa Barbara, who obviously was
of course, yeah.
who obviously died as a 3-year-old. Which how would I get that? That horse was ringing in my. I could not get that horse's name in my head. We got that.
3 fancies there for Jubilee. Lee doesn't have one for that, unless you want to. Is anything sort of sway? Which one of the 3 do you like the best out of the case that we've made?
Hey, remember who you're going to York with tomorrow?
Yeah, well, actually, look, we've got Mr. Tom Bull on Saturday's live, so 10:30 a.m. on Saturday, and I'll probably pick Tom's pick over your one.
That's a great line. Love that. Final race, gentlemen, then we'll fly through it. Hardwicke Stakes, Group 2, 1.5 miles. Hookham 7-4, Free Wind at 3s, Deauville Legend 6s, Pile Driver 7s. Harry, it's just me and you with fancies in this.
Oh, go on then, you far away. I won't say one word here. I won't say one word, but I'm just going to rely on you.
It's the same horse as Pile Driver. I know Hookham beat Pile Driver at Epsom in the Coronation Cup in 2022, but you have to maybe ask the question, Pile Driver, how much does he love Epsom? Being around it twice, I think, went to the Derby when Serpentine won it and was like 11 for 14. Obviously Epsom, I'm not the first person to tell you about the test of Epsom. And I thought he was brilliant in the King George. I thought he was really, really good. Like, it wasn't like he got a freebie or anything like that. He sort of just like got to the front, like midway through the race, just kicked on and nothing came to him really. Toccato Tasso, an arc winner in behind. I know he's probably prepping for the arc and it wasn't maybe his best ground. But he's still a very, very good horse, and Piledriver had him beaten easy that day. Mischief in third. Again, Mischief maybe not on a potential proper going day, but still a very, very good horse is Mischief, and Broome was back there in fourth. I think that win was really, really good. I think he's a very, very good horse, and the quick round will be right up his street.
They all know if he's right, because he won't.
And they've been saying, they've been saying it in the press all week. You know, they wouldn't be saying that unless he was right. So Piledriver for me.
And if the money comes, if the money's right, then it was right as well. Because if I remember correctly, this horse there was a little bit of a pump going on last year. It was a big price, and then it come crashing down into, I think it was 18s that it went off
18s,
at.
yeah.
And
it opened up at like 40 to 1 or something like that. So
there's a horse that ran today in the same colours, I think. Shagpile, did you see that?
How have they got away with that?
How have they got away with stuff like that?
It's actually a type of rug, Harry, if you wanted to know.
Yeah.
Ash, I was asking on Ash's behalf.
No, you weren't. Right, that's just us two for the Hardwicke. Harry's not saying a word because he loves the case I've made for Piledriver. We'll go on to naps and anything else. Sam, I know you have a couple of anything else's, so fire through them and then your nap.
Yeah, I'll go quick. In the Queen Mary Stakes, Flora of Bermuda for the Balding Yard B1, who finished second to Midnight Affair and Hilary Needer at Beverley last weekend, was really unlucky. Midnight Affair's around 8 to 1. This horse is 20 to 1. I messaged Oisin the day after and I said, this horse here, will it go for the Queen Mary, Oisin? Because he rode it that day. And he said, absolutely, got a mega chance. He said, unfortunately, I won't be on this horse. He'll be on Out of the Stars for Qatar Racing. But he thinks the horse would have easily won that race to Hilary Needer. I know the Fav won it, but honestly, I think he thinks the Fav was lucky because he got in all sorts of trouble. So Flora of Bermuda at 20 to 1 in the Queen Mary. I also like Carla's Way in the Albany. She won a filly stakes in Good Star. She actually beat a horse called Star of Mystery, who came out today and won by the length of our Sifa's 2023 Ribblesdale performance. That's how long it was. It was 11 lengths. And the form, that's really good. And Miss Roberts was fourth that day, who was actually narrowly beaten by Jabara, who's the current favourite for the race. So Carla's Way, the form's really stacking up for the Crisfords. I think that'll run well. Dunham in the Royal Hunt Cup is one for Miss Natalia Lupini. This horse here has not been outside the top 2 in big handicaps for Natalia Lupini. It's going to be under bet because of the trainer. She's only got probably under 10 horses, I'd say, but she's taken this horse from a high 50s mark to a high 90s mark since having him, and he could be a real fly in the opening in that race. I know Perotto's been well bet, and I completely get the case for him, but I'll have an each way play on Dunham. And then I did get a text earlier, Harry, from the US, from NASA. And they said to me, are we all right to leave Rockets in the Norfolk? And I said, absolutely, leave it in there. And they said, that's good, because American Rascal is our rocket. Elon Musk's been training this horse alongside Wesley Ward. Honestly, this thing is a jet plane. And I'd like to find out, Harry, if you'll take basically, Harry and I have built a match bet. So the first match bet was tickets to Goodwood, and I lost that one, and I've bought Harry the tickets. The second one was a couple of pints at Goodwood. I won that one, so Harry owes me a few pints on the day. And this last one is going to be for a £10 free bet in the opening race. And I'd like to see if Harry will give me an American trainer to win a race at Royal Ascot.
No, I said Wesley Ward. I said Wesley Ward.
Give them the Americans.
Give me the American trainers.
Look, who else you got apart from Wesley?
Do you know what? You can have it. You can have it. Wesley will not have a winner. Wesley Ward will not have a winner.
We've already had this argument, me and Harry. I think Wesley will train a winner, and I think it'll be American Rascal.
Yeah, and I'll tell the other American horse off camera that could win for not Wesley Ward. So you've agreed to the bet, so that's unlucky.
If we'll do the deal, double or nothing. If James McDonald has more winners than American trainers.
Yeah, fine. Okay, we'll work on that. Yeah, we'll work around that. I understand what you're trying to do. That's fine. But they're probably
that's what he's doing.
It takes some getting there.
They're the ones for me. Anything else? Did you want my nap now, or are you going to go around and get anything else from there? My nap of Royal Ascot.
Yeah, thanks, Sam and Lee.
I mean, I could put our Sifa up, couldn't I, at 4 to 5, because I think she's actually a really good price.
Yeah, but it's a good price. That's a good price, isn't it, Sam?
It is. But I'll give you something at a price. I'd say I think Carla's Way in the Albany is a really, really good bet. I think around 7 to 1, 8 to 1. I think it's a really good price. And I think the Crisfords have the winner of that.
Lovely stuff. I might take a bit of your action on American trainers, Harry, because I think as an American trainer who got a good chance in the Norfolk, taking on Wesley Ward, taking on Elite Status, I like George Weaver's No Name Mets in this. I wouldn't claim to be a whiz in American racing, but I watched back his win at Gulfstream Park. I thought it was very, very good. Thought the pedigree is very nice as well. No Nay Never. Oh, big voice right there. We always have one.
It's time for this. Get the voice cracker.
Oh, just give me plenty of gifts, Harry. I love it. I absolutely love it. No Nay Never out of Etoile. Etoile I'm going to go for. Group 3 winner on debut at Nace when racing with Aidan O'Brien. I think No Name Mets at 12-1 is a lovely bet in the Norfolk. And I actually had this discussion with someone. Elite Status, that was that Sandown winner. It's a good horse. Don't get me wrong. Very, very good horse. I had a discussion with someone saying that people think it's better than it might be because of the commentary to the race. I put that forward in the fact that Mark Johnson, who's a fantastic commentator, was giving it like large about this horse when they had to turn a foot. And I think people cotton onto that. So that's why it's sort of 6-4. I'm not disregarding its chances at all. I think it's a fantastic horse of what it showed, but maybe it's short because of the commentary on that day. That's a little proposition there.
No, I disagree.
The one horse who's done something similar to Elite Status is in the Coventry would be a Sadner through George Beauillard. Now that horse put up a really, really good mark. Like we're talking almost like Group 1 level 3-year-old kind of performance. That's how good it was. And you worry with something like that is surely, I mean, if it runs to that, we've seen an absolute weapon, but surely it can only take a step back from that. You would be so surprised if it ended up putting a similar performance to that, because it would be something special. But I think maybe we've seen the best,
I disagree, Sam, just because I thought the horse was just. I thought for a while you were thinking, is this horse going to get going? And then the penny dropped and you go, wow, like, whoa. Like that was
very good.
I think this a better race. I think you'll see these better horses come into their own. And I think a Sadner for me, sorry, Ash, I know obviously you were going on, but he's my only other best. I think I can't believe the price. I think 3-1 is a cracking price.
What's your nap?
Get the hammer out, because I put him up at 92. Remember a couple of weeks
ago. No, you can get the hammer out. So I'm not getting any. I'm not getting him out.
The whole 1.5 points. You've scooped up the value there with the 1.5.
Look, he's 11-4. It's 11-4 in places.
Yeah, 11-4 in play. A Sadner in the Coventry, but then it's got to be the Bear, hasn't it? It's got to be the Bear. So fingers crossed.
I would have said Al Asifa in Little Big Bear is going to be my nap double.
It's a fair bet. It's a fair bet. 4 to 5 and 15 to 8. Like, you know, it's going to be a fair price, that double.
I would keep an eye out for one each way. It'll be a big price. I think it kind of goes under the radar in the betting. Tashizu of Nick Bradley.
You and that horse.
Look, it's become a clip horse, but it come from the last day and stormed home at Epsom. It keeps doing that. If it gets a strong pace and gets drawn into the race, I think it'll come home well. It's done it. It's ran 2 cracking races at Newmarket. It ran in the Lincoln first time up. That wasn't its bag. First time for Roger Fell had come from Joseph O'Brien's. Nick Bradley bought him, and I still think he's on a good mark. Holly Doyle, I think it was not the greatest ride. I hate the crab jockeys, but she had it last, and she could have had a good position, and it absolutely flew home. And the winner of the race was upsides at one point. So I just think she had it like, I don't know, she left it too late, I would have said, and it flew home. So yeah, I think if it gets a good pace in one of them handicaps, it'll get drawn into it, and I think it'll be a big price. So Tashizu, but I'll take the double. Alasifa and Little Big Bear's me nap.
Lovely stuff. I've given up the other horse. My nap of the festival will come in the handicaps, and I think we are going to do a handicap video, I believe. So do stick around for that later in the week. My nap of these races, I've gone through them, and I am going to go Indestructible 40-1 in the St. James's Palace. St. James Palace.
I shall rate that from you. I really do.
I'm going to go with Indestructible 40-1. Lovely stuff. Right, brilliant. That's all we've got time for. Sam, thank you very much for coming on. Apologies for keeping you up this late. Completely my fault, but you are here. You've given Harry some ribbings, and it's been a good episode.
I've been quite nice to him. You've got a big flat festival coming up, so I'm in a really good mood. So I've actually been quite gentle on him this evening.
4 days with him. I've got 4 days with him.
Harry will be staying here for Goodwood Week, so that's you get some good videos that week, I'm sure of us.
It's just not
But no, I appreciate you guys having me on. Loving the stuff that you're doing. I'm sure Next Gen and Only Fools Love Horses will come together again in the near future. So yeah, cheers, lads.
100%.
Definitely, yeah. Make sure to check out Next Gen Racing on YouTube and Twitter. Check yourself out, Sam. Check Jack Dorling out as well. You two do some fantastic stuff.
So as you saw at the start of the video, we do have our competition that is running until the end of June. Now, if you do want to get involved, make sure you do either inbox myself, Ash or Lee, or even better, inbox the OFLH Racing Twitter DM account. So just send us a message over. We'll get you entered in the raffle. We've had plenty of entries already. And for only £5, you could win a prize for over £350. So good luck.
It's a very, very good prize. Make sure to go check it out on our Twitter. And we'll be back, hopefully, with a handicaps video to look ahead to Royal Ascot. If not, we will be doing a Saturday live, looking ahead to the racing, looking ahead to Royal Ascot. We will be there for a Saturday live, do something. And I'm sure we might do a couple more bits and pieces ahead of Royal Ascot or during Royal Ascot. So make sure to go check out our Twitter, Only Fools Love Horses Racing over there. If you did enjoy, please do like and subscribe. The likes were brilliant last video, so go for it again. 75 likes for Royal Ascot. Why not? Sam Hart is here. That should be at least 2,000 likes.
This shirt.
It's the shirt. It's the
2,000 thumbs down, mate. You know, thumbs up.
Ooh, you can find yourself a hotel for Goodwood Week, mate.
I'll cut you the best bacon sauna you'll ever taste in your life, my friend. So you're in good hands, son. You're in good,
Nick. If you did enjoy, please do like, subscribe, and make sure to turn the notification bell on to never miss a video. We'll be back very, very soon. If you're having a bet, please do gamble responsibly, and good luck at Royal Ascot.